Hello, everybody. I'm Dylan Gott. That is John
I'm
Hastings, and this
I'm
is.
broken John Hastings. That's brother Biro.
We all know what he was gonna say,
Yeah, brother Meth Face, ladies and gentlemen.
brother.
I don't
Shit.
know. Do you know if Matt Hardy is on drugs right now?
I think
I
Matt
can't.
Hardy. Here's the thing about Matt Hardy. Can I tell you this?
I wish you would. It is a podcast after all.
You know what? This podcast, I'll keep my opinions to myself.
You know
Um.
what? For this podcast, no talking, only thinking. Hi everyone. Welcome to the Wrestler Review meditation style.
hmm
Let's all think about Jeff Hardy and what he must have been feeling when he jumped over that guardrail.
I think that Matt Hardy drugs make him better, and Jeff Hardy drugs make him worse.
Go ahead.
That's the whole point. I think that Matt Hardy does drugs and thinks of cool things. Like, hey,
I
what if
thought
I
Matt
was
Hardy
like,
was sober now. I didn't think Matt Hardy was doing Dragos anymore.
when did he get sober?
I think he got sober in like 2011 when they were like when the Hardy Boys were being wild
The
boys.
Hardy Man. It's cool
Yeah.
how like there clearly is no like they always go back to being the Hardy Boys even if one of them is doing much better on their own. Like every time they've been on their own, they've both done much more interesting work at least from a fan perspective.
One of them has. What
Which
interesting
one?
work has Jeff Hardy done besides
I think
Willow?
Jeff Hardy other than Willow, which is literally a backyard wrestling character he had, which is so funny.
Yeah, but he's a backyard wrestling character. There's so much to get into this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our continuing Jeff Hardy saga.
The
This is the
imagination of Jeff Hardy.
this is the imagination of Jeff Hardy. For some reason, we are now doing
Jeff
the
Hardy.
final part of Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy's. You know what we should do is the next episode should be us reporting what happens in the future we think about Jeff Hardy, but as fact.
Okay, well, here's the weird thing is I think Matt dies first and then Jeff gets real weird.
I think Jeff, in the climate apocalypse that awaits us in 10 years,
It's 5 years.
okay,
It's 5 years.
5 years from now, Jeff Hardy gets gets a spot on the ship, but then sees how high up he is as he's rocketing towards Mars. Swantons himself to death
course.
outside in space.
And as
And
he does
then-
that, everyone goes, he died doing what he loves, misunderstanding a situation.
And then on the way down, Vince McMahon is also outside, but he's in like a spacesuit. He's fine, and he's yelling at Jeff. Now you can't work Raw. I hate you.
Yeah. Now finally you're gonna now when Jeff Hardy got to hell, he's like, oh my god, is this just a Sunday night heat taping? It's like, yep, that's right. That's how bad your job was.
Hell is just the wrestlers' court where Bradshaw forced both Hardy Boys to drink and literally ushered in their substance abuse problems.
Is that how they started drinking? I wouldn't be surprised at all.
See the mug?
Oh, it's great. My brother got me one that says "Brother, homie, wingman," meaning my mug is better than your mug.
Brother, homie, wingman.
Yeah, because I'm a brother, I'm a homie, and I'm of course a wingman.
Everyone knows how old your brother is. Yes, like 19.
Yes.
Okay, so I just want to. You wingmaning for your brother would be fun.
I am a wingman for 18-year-olds. What I do is I drive them to a bar, I give them each a crisp $10 bill, and I go, you go in there and you buy a nice lady, a nice cocktail.
Yeah.
Nice cocktail.
You know, back in my day, missionary position was called showing off.
Yeah, we don't do missionary position. We millennials don't do missionary position. Know what we do? We just jack off in our own individual homes, then call a lady we like and go, have you ever had any organic food? I don't believe you.
Yeah. Well, I guess what would it be different? Like just fucking freewheel, putting your thumb in your own ass. That's what I do. Anyway, Jeff Harvey.
Oh, you fucking got him, Dylan. You got him. Show's over. We got him. Guys, we got him.
Shortest step, best ratings.
Shortest step, biggest loads dropped.
So, but we all remember how the Hardy Boys came back. They came back.
It was the best. It was
WrestleMania.
the best part of that
Yeah, that's right.
WrestleMania. Everyone was super surprised.
The only good part of that WrestleMania.
Oh, that is not true. What about the excellent Roman Reigns Undertaker match?
That's true.
Yeah. What about Jim Ross not able to grieve? Jim Ross,
Jim
your
Ross.
wife is dead. Well then, I assume Mr. Man was like, "Congratulations, you'll be able to work on the flight. See you here."
Jim, we got your back at the head of talent relations.
Jim,
Finally,
I
that
spoke to
thing
your
that's
wife
been
on
holding you
Monday,
back.
and she was being a bit naggy when it came to hotel admin.
No.
Luckily, that's not a problem.
I guarantee it's like for Jim Ross, it's like, well, what do I want to do? Do I want to be around the kids that I ignored as a child, or do I want to just be near the Undertaker? It's like,
Here's something I think about
I'll
way
take the
more
other
than I should.
okay.
Jim Ross chose Bill Watts over his ball spawn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked at Bill Watts, a man who was yelling "Buy Kruger ants" at a cokehead, and went, "That guy's better than my kids. That guy is so much better than my kids."
It's tale as old as time, though, man. I mean, I don't want to get.
No, it
you
is
know,
not. No,
we
no
both-
one else has that tale. No one else has Jim
career
Ross's
over
life.
career.
No one
over
has Jim
family?
Ross's life. Jim
There's
Ross
so
is
many
raised.
people, though.
Jim Ross is raised by a child's drawing of America in the 50s, just a farmer from Oklahoma with
Yep.
thin, muscular stomach, and a beautiful wife, a beautiful sex.
Jim Ross wanted to
wife.
fuck his mom, and he never got.
Of
over
course
it.
he did. He did.
He got into it.
He had one opportunity, but she was dead and the police were there. And then he had one son. That one son, for some reason, loves two things: the concept of being a coach and Oklahoma University football. And then that man grew up to be a pudgy smoker who hates his kids and talks a lot about porn stars during any radio interview. And let me tell you something else about that man. That man does not like the Hardy Boys. He loves them. The Hardy Boys re-debuted at the WrestleMania Who Gives a Fuck.
There you go.
Only fun part where the New Day brings them out. They walk out. This is when a friend of the show, Brendan Burns, told me that supposedly Matt Hardy had like super fucked up hips, which I always remember the
Matt
interest
Hardy
of
is
watching his hips.
Fucked. Matt
Hardy's
fucked.
so fucked up. Like,
it is crazy because like this shows how bad a top rope leg drop is for you, where it's like you're just landing on your spine day after.
I mean,
day
there's so
after
many things we
day.
learn where it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, what was Hulk Hogan's finishing move? Leg drop. What was fucking Billy Kidman's finishing move? He flips forward in midair and lands on you with his whole body. Who's had 11 million surgeries? Well, that's Hulk Hogan. And
Yeah.
Billy Kidman, I assume he's doing insurance and having sex with a very plain-looking woman.
No, Billy Kidman was a road agent for a million years. He's one of those guys who's
What's he doing
snuck
now?
in-
What's he fucking doing now, though, bitch?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Did it hurt when I called you bitch?
No, I'm Will Smith. You.
No,
Will Smith.
no, don't date this episode. Don't date this episode.
No, I'll date whoever I want.
I assume it'll
That's
be your
Will
wife.
Smith. No, Will Smith. I'm gonna date Will Smith. Anyway, John, did you have any thoughts about Will Smith? It's been a week.
Yeah,
It's the week anniversary of the thing that like there will be a great documentary about.
it has
it'll
not
be
been a
like
week. What are you talking about? It's
OJ's
not even. Oh no, when this comes out, it's been a week. Yeah, good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like there'll be an
I don't
OJ
care.
Made in America
Here's the
style
thing is,
documentary.
yeah, Will Smith couldn't take a fucking joke. No fucking shit. And the Academy should have been like, get the fuck out. Here's my main problem with the Will Smith thing is, for the last fucking 10 fucking fuck years, all I've ever heard is, we have to defend comedians. Comedians are in trouble. We have to defend comedians. And then a tiny little comedian is slapped in the face by a bitch fuck who can't rap and can't act in the Independence Day. Independent my dick. And then everyone's just like, whoa.
Independent by dick.
Well, so you can't talk about his wife. Yeah, hey, Jada Pinkett Smith, you were in a nu metal band. You're lucky that information wasn't spread wide, because then everyone would have been like, we should kill her. They suck. Fuck off. It just exposed so much bullshit hypocrisy. You know, we're gonna protect comedy. Oh, and then a comedian's getting smacked. Whoa! Yeah. Oh, I fucking hate it. That's what I have to say about everything.
He's
Let's talk more
still
about
a producer, Billy Kidman.
For what? For the
WWE.
Oscars? Billy Kidman was working at the Oscars
Billy
when this
Kidman
happened?
Let the slap
wanna know-
happen.
Because Will Smith is in the New Blood. If this turns out to be the long con of the Dying Days angle
No,
of
I wanna talk
WCW,
about-
and they bring back the Millionaires Club and the Blue Blood
Here's
and the
something
New
that-
Blood.
definitely applies to this show, and I'm not making that up. And not this episode, but it will date the episode, but it does fill me with rage. Eric Bischoff
Go ahead.
is going all in on the conspiracy theory that this slap was faked. And it's like, I want to kill him with a small rock, so it takes a long time because I have to see it. And then I see all these fucking breakdowns about how goddamn slap was faked, and it's like it
No,
wasn't
it
faked.
wasn't.
He
You,
can't
it,
fight. It's a
yeah,
guy.
thank you,
It's
thank
a
you.
guy who
I
can't fight
wish.
trying to hit someone, and he hit him with the end of his hand because he was like halfway through the slap. He was like, "Oh my god, what the fuck am I doing? I'm A, ruining my career. B, I'm not even gonna hurt this guy."
And see,
Which
I
is the
don't
whole
like my
reason he
wife that
yelled
much.
at
I
the
don't
guy.
like my wife that my wife
No,
hosts
he's
a weird
fucked with open
podcast in my
relationship.
house.
He's fucked.
Yeah, no, by the way, can we just say this about open relationships? They turn out all the same. I don't know any open relationship that doesn't have a I'm a slap Chris Rock style moment.
The man, if he was, unless he's like a actually like raised in a different way than most men are, it breaks them mentally.
I cannot. There's such a story that would win my point right now that I
You have a
cannot tell.
$500 million dollars, and you're still like everyone's just making fun of you for your wife having sex, even though he's Will Smith.
By the way,
He clearly
and
has a lot of sex.
also by the way,
We're gonna cut this part out, but whatever.
No, we're not cutting this part out.
Yeah, whatever. It's all content.
Yeah, it's all content. We're not. I'm not
a
gonna.
mom, I'm a wife. I'm a boss.
I will tell. I have a story that's in this realm that I can tell you, Dylan, after the podcast.
John,
but I'm not
speaking
even.
into an iPhone 96 that looks like a very nice microphone. John,
thank you. Purchasing
he's got
a
an
microphone.
orange toque from Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. I shaved my face.
I don't like that you shaved your face. I like bearded Dylan.
In the right
I like
lighting,
bearded Dylan.
I enjoy how it looks. In the wrong lighting, I don't.
I like bearded because this is young, fresh faced Dylan. I like bearded. I'm a dad. Get away from me. Give me a big pizza. That's the Dylan I like. You know what I mean? I'm watching AEW Dark and just doing fucking squats in my garage.
Well, that's what I did yesterday. It was good.
Of course you did. Why wouldn't you? That's why.
My knees hurt. I'm Jeff Hardy.
Oh, listen, I did yoga yesterday.
Call me Jeff Harvey's because I'm fat. My knees hurt.
I did yoga yesterday and then pulled a bunch of nerves in my hip and then just slowly stretched throughout the day, and I felt it pop back in. I've never felt more satisfied in my life. You know what else felt satisfied? The Hardy Boys when they re-debuted in the WWE at that WrestleMania.
Hips, guys, because you end up like Matt Hardy, where it's like your body's fucked, even though your younger brother is like, "Hey, I just did a swanton off of a BMX bike onto some nails, and also while I was on the way down, decided I think I am gonna get that bathtub meth started again." I did a leg drop. I can't say hi to my son. Like it's so crazy.
It's also can I just say one more thing because I did a lot of I watched a lot of Matt Hardy Twitch streams to try and figure out if Jeff Hardy is on drugs or not.
Okay.
Why is every AEW wrestler on Twitch? Like it's the weirdest thing because I was watching it and he's getting like so many subs and stuff like that. But then I was just like, wait a minute. Aren't these guys being paid by AEW? Like, it's one of those things where if I'm a Twitch viewer, I'd be like, I'm not giving you fucking money, millionaire.
This is what one of the things about AEW is remember, if you remember around the time AEW was formed, before
in the middle of COVID, they tried to kick off all the WWE guys off of Twitch. Yeah,
Zelina Vega, the whole Zelina Vega thing. So this is basically what happened. That's one of the lures of AEW. Like they just had, as of this past Wednesday, Toni Storm debut, and Toni Storm has a very well publicized like OnlyFans, and that's the whole thing. Is you're allowed to make secondary income. Like Adam Cole's one of the top AEW stars, and he still does indie dates.
Of course he does. Also, do you want to know who got an email from OnlyFans corporate yesterday? I meant to send this to you to discuss on the show. Yes, I did. OnlyFans is moving into being like they want to be a podcast platform is what they want to be, and they want to be like Patreon, so like be 100%. Behind our posts.
We're switching.
What I'm saying is, ladies and gentlemen, who wants to see a wrestler review? OnlyFans. We can make this happen.
Did they have a better profit share than Patreon? We'll talk about this. I mean, whatever has the best profit share. I mean, honestly, you guys have been so loyal and so great for us that, like, I feel like this is kind of like one of those weird Andy Kaufman or G.G. Allen shows where the fucking audience will just follow us. We're like, we're gonna go shit in the toilet, and they're like, well, we did pay $10 for this. We might as well watch this guy shit.
Yeah, I mean, we've already gotten through so many different audio qualities of this show. We might as well just watch them shit.
You guys have almost watched this be recorded only on iPhone 1s.
I mean, yeah, and by the way, that would have been such a stark quality improvement from some episodes.
Oh yeah.
Here's what I'd like to say about Jeff Hardy in this era. So the Hardy Boys debut at that WrestleMania, and everyone goes fucking crazy.
But
Everyone's so excited for
what's gonna
broken
happen?
Matt Hardy to be in the WWE. I don't know why we were excited for that, because there's
Well,
no way that was going to be good.
so this is what I would like to relay at least is that I feel like this was the first, not the first, but one of the first times there was a WWE debut of an outside, or obviously an old WWE talent that had reinvented themselves, where everyone pretty much knew, oh, they're gonna fuck this up, but like let's enjoy the moment, baby. It's kind of like we as wrestling fans, every time something cool happens in WWE, react like it's like us hooking up with a toxic ex again, where we're
Of
like,
course.
well, let's just enjoy the night because the
Yeah.
morning's gonna be, they're gonna fucking start gaslighting.
No,
us.
what it is it's you hooking up with a toxic ex in your 30s. In your 20s, you're like, I mean, they
It
were
could work
crazy
out.
that one
Yeah.
time, but this will be fine. In your 30s, you're like, I mean, the sex was excellent, but I do not actually. Oh, like you know what I mean? You're like I'm aware of what's about. I even wouldn't even take this to a sexual place. I have friends that are like this, where you're just like, I want to hang out with them, but I'm not. The first hour will be fun, and then they'll be like, all right, I don't want to
Yeah.
have 8 beers, and they're like, I thought we were hanging out, and it's like, I'm 36, man. I don't
Yeah.
have 2 beers on a Wednesday anymore, man. I got heartburn concerns.
Oh, buddy. But yeah, that's exactly it. And they're the Hardy Boys for 8 seconds until
They are not even. I don't think they're the Hardy Boys even at the end
no,
of the
they win the
match,
tag
and they win the
titles.
match. I know they
That's
do,
so
but
they break
but
up
like
and then win.
one
the
of them is dressed like Jeff Hardy, and the other one is being broken Matt Hardy, and they don't seem like they're a tag team. Like literally,
Well, that's the weird thing about the Matt Hardy. It's so funny to basically do a Matt Hardy episode within a Jeff Hardy episode.
because
But
you
it's
kind of
like,
have to for this period
yeah,
of time, because when they debut, all of the emphasis on Matt. Like everyone's just like, oh, thank fuck, we're gonna get broken Matt Hardy in WWE. That's all anyone cared about. And then they're like, oh yeah, Willow's here too. I don't give a shit.
well,
And
that's
then
kind of the whole story is like that Matt, which that's why I think the Hardy Boys are so cool is that like Jeff allows Matt to essentially tell the story of like, I finally beat you and you are subservient to me, because that's why he becomes Brother Nero.
Mhm. And then they have the great match, the final deletion match, all of that sort of stuff. Yes, no, I
Yeah,
completely
that's the
understand it. But
TNA
then
obviously, but then like
this
Vince
is
wants
TNA, but no,
that.
but this isn't. I know that we're bringing this up, but once you get to the WWE, it's this weird situation where the way that they had sort of structured their careers together, they get to the WWE, and then it was kind of like, well, what actually are we going to see here? Because it was then you had like broken Matt Hardy, Bray Wyatt, but Jeff Hardy was sort of an afterthought and kind of moved into this weird. It's that weird phase that the WWE, only the WWE can get into, where it's like, well, we don't have any main eventers, so let's do Big Show Jeff Hardy for the world title
Yeah.
night of champions.
We've
Like it's
kind
just
of
like,
made everybody an Intercontinental Champion except for Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar.
yeah, and maybe Bobby Lashley, like maybe, but it's not really.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley's more like a really like Bobby Lashley's like kind of booked like the Big Show used to be, where it's like he murders everybody, but then once he gets to Rock and Austin, it's like he's a fucking idiot loser.
Yeah, like yeah, that's exactly yeah. They booked the Big Show in the Attitude Era. It's like this guy cannot be killed by bullets. Steve Austin coughed on him, and he cried like a little baby boy. He's a baby.
Well, yeah, it's also the schizophrenic booking where they're like, this guy is unstoppable until May when he loves to impersonate the Groucho Marx. Groucho
Now, but here's
Big
the
Show.
here's the thing with WWE at this point that's so weird is, for a company that really went out of its way, to always sort of seem fresh or have eras. When you look at WrestleMania, that WrestleMania, which was 2017 WrestleMania, so we're looking at WrestleMania 33. It is the same fucking show. And it's 5 years ago. What the fuck is going on? Like it's a stag. We basically had WrestleMania 30 and 31, and Vince McMahon was like, my audience is enjoying our content too much. Get me, my son, get me a steel cage, and let's impress one friend of me and Dylan's. That's it. And that is all that they have done since that. What did Jeff Hardy do in this period? I read the research, and basically it's like
It's mush.
he hung
It's
out.
literally mush. It's like he But this
Like,
is
yeah, no shit. Jeff Hardy was pissed off and orchestrated him getting released because he was fucking like probably just done with this bullshit.
the other thing that doesn't lend itself is that like Jeff Hardy, a lot of this takes place during the pandemic era.
Well, it
I
very
should say
much takes place during a lot of it takes place during the pandemic.
2017 until just recently, right? So it's like a lot of it is Jeff Hardy doing swantons in front of a computer screen and a bunch of people that
We have not addressed the WWE in the COVID era at all. Like, do we remember when it was the fucking Thunderdome? Do you remember how many different things they had to censor off of those screens because
immediately
wrestling
so
fans
good.
are assholes?
I mean, we
I
knew it was going to
mean,
happen, and we're happy that it did.
of course, but I mean that I love that. Like they first of all, my favorite part was that the WWE didn't see it coming. That they someone had a Chris Benoit, pardon me, front row of the first Raw, and that they were like, Jesus, and it's like,
I
how did
guarantee
you
a lot of
not
people saw
know?
it coming, but Vince McMahon just was like ignored them.
But
Like,
even still, like, oh, that was just wild.
it was fucking crazy, but it was just it's the internet. I thought the Thunderdome was an okay idea. I definitely thought that they would allow, pardon me, audio from people watching it, but also, what are
No,
you gonna do? Yeah, you can't.
no
Do
way
that.
would they do that.
You can't. It would just be the N word. It would just be people.
Like, do you
screaming the
understand?
N-word.
Because it's also, I don't think most of those people knew they were watching wrestling. I think Vince McMahon, I think those people thought they were in a Zoom meeting.
Oh yeah, there's probably some dope Reddit stuff of just like the best screen caps from that era, but then you got Jeff Hardy, which is crazy to me that like Jeff Hardy was still doing like swantons to the outside, where it's like, oh, I don't need an audience, I just enjoy
Yeah.
hurting myself, and I just enjoy knowing that I'm really poorly committing suicide every time I do.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Jeff Hardy feels like he's like, what is your life's goal? Oh, I want to die on television. And it's like, what? Why? And it's like, I don't know. I want to be remembered. And I want everyone to look back on my life and go, we should have seen this coming.
I want to die at not the top of the hour because that drives ratings. I want to die at 8:30 when some people are getting ready to flip or get up to go to the TV, and I want to die in the ring with Damian Sandow.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
want to miss a splash and die.
Well,
And
this
like,
is also the weird thing. First of all, Damian Sandow is not. Do you know who his dream opponent is? This is the thing I also learned from the research that was weird as
Roman
fuck.
Reigns.
It's so weird. Why
That's a
is
great
that
match.
No, it isn't.
Will Jeff Hardy die? Because it's like
It's not a good match. Because, by the way, Roman Reigns is weirdly learned how to work in a weird way, in that he's a big giant big man who looks really good. Like, will Roman Reigns be able to beat a guy 2 feet shorter than him?
I don't think
Yes.
it's like. I think it's like this is his last chance. You do. I mean, if it was AEW, and I say that because AEW does like common sense wrestling things, which is funny because it's like, oh, they're not even good. They just do common sense stuff. Where it'd be like, there's an unstoppable dude, but Jeff Hardy will do whatever it takes. Can Jeff Hardy beat Roman Reigns? You know, in the finals. The final world title shot of his career, and then he just got to stick to that, and then he loses, but it's a fun match. And Jeff Hardy's also 800 years old, but he'll still just like, hey, Roman, throw me into the crowd, and everyone will stab me. And Roman's like, well, actually, most of my moves are strikes, so it's very safe for you. We're going to have to work on that, because I do want to be in the hospital with a specifically broken neck. I want you to break my
Roman,
neck.
if you're not
you,
willing to hurt me, I will make John Moxley drink more, and then I will get him in the ring. How about that, Roman? Roman, it's me, Matt. Roman, it's me, Matt. And I want you to know, I don't want to live, and I want to die.
Okay, fine then. No more Roman Reigns. I face Nia Jax now, because she hurts people. Okay?
Yeah. Hello, Vince? Vince, you know how you've been weirdly obsessed with women wrestling men? Yeah, right. My mummy couldn't beat up my stepdaddies, but now the mummies I make at my company can beat up any daddy. He's like, how about me and Nia Jax in a she tries all the moves they won't let her try on other people match? Good idea. All just buckle bombs, no buckles. Yeah.
Just press slams against guys who are huge. But anyway, Jeff Hardy, and then this is an interesting thing where it's like, I feel like the internet consensus, at least from the things I listen to in wrestling media, was basically like exactly what I said. Oh yeah, they're gonna fucking, it'll be weird. Remember, a lot of the impetus behind getting the Hardy Boys back was like
broken Matt Hardy.
and
It was
Vince
just
loving
broken.
that character, and then it was like, oh,
I don't
but I
think
don't
that.
want
I
Matt
also, by
Hardy
the way,
to do
do
it. I
not
want
think
the
that. I
Undertaker
don't
to do
think
it.
Vince liked that character at
No,
all.
he did. He loved the cinematic style because he stole it
That
from
was
Bray Wyatt, and then he got Matt Hardy because he's like, okay, well this isn't working, and then he's like, well Matt Hardy's part of Team Extreme, and they're like, no, but he's reinvented himself, and he's like, I don't know what you're saying, but
yeah,
it's
but
making me angry because I'm saying words, you're not saying the same words back to me. Why don't you? You're supposed to say what I say. And
hey, reinvent. What are the rules?
but I mean, it would be
2 syllables. Only 2.
it would be very funny if they just went like, because obviously they're just like Team Extreme Hardys again in AEW, because like whatever. I mean, even like AEW people were just kind of like, it's been enough of the broken Matt Hardy thing. But
Well, also, but he wasn't broken Matt. I thought when he re-debuted, we'd have a bit of more broken Matt Hardy. Instead, we had Matt Hardy businessman. Like, by the way,
he switched to being Big Money Matt. Yes.
I did not enjoy Big Money Matt. I don't
No
like
one
Big
did.
Money Matt. Yeah, I know no one did. I don't want to work at the Hardy home office or whatever
Actually,
the fuck it's called.
weirdly, the dude who subbed in for you one week, Josh, is a Matt Hardy fan to the point where I'm a Big Boss Man fan, where he was like, loved Big Money Matt, which I get it because Matt Hardy
What?
is like a lot like Christian, where it's like, yeah, Edge and Jeff Hardy get all the things, but it's like, you're looking back and it's like, well, Christian's actually much better, and so is Matt Hardy. They're just
Yeah.
way,
Oh no.
they're just way more boring.
It's not even that. Christian's problem is he's just slightly shorter than Edge. And also, something that I've really noticed with the WWE that AEW does not do is that WWE literally sticks with whatever the first person said the first impression was.
Mhm.
The WWE is like, we go with that. The only exception of that rule is Steve Austin. Steve Austin was brought in to be an Intercontinental Champion, became the World Champion, and Vince McMahon then made sure that could never happen again.
Yeah, you're right, because even you look at the pillars of the Attitude Era, and it's like, even if you extend it to Kurt Angle, all three of those guys, Kurt Angle, Triple H, and The Rock, were all we're all tabbed to be world champions.
Huge. Yeah.
But
same thing with the Big
characters.
Show. Yeah.
And their
like
second
that's it.
character work.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, you're a Connecticut blue blood. That doesn't work. All right. You're into the Nazis and the future and Harley race and Motorhead and your penis.
That's his own
The
character.
fans will love it. What?
You desperately want someone to suck your dick.
Yeah.
So bad,
what is the gimmick of D-Generation X? They're 4 guys that are desperate for someone to suck their dicks.
Pretty much, they are in grade 7. That is their gimmick.
Yeah. I don't know why our childhood were the best, because there were so many, whatever kind of
television
person
was
you
directly
were,
for us. Like
exactly.
directly.
But whatever kind of teenager you were, there was an entire subculture for you. I got bacne and I don't know how to talk to girls, but I would like to be violent and I want to make good entrances. Welcome to pro wrestling.
Yeah.
I
Jeff
want to wear baggy shorts and be goal oriented. Welcome to basketball. I am a goth and I am also a girl. Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the movie The Craft, and also inexplicably Gossip Girl.
That's all we had for girls.
XOXO.
You could be Buffy or you could fuck off.
Or Gilmore
you know what?
Girls.
Actually, I think we're gonna do a sister podcast. This one called Gossip Guys.
Oh yeah, XOXO. OXOX is how that one will end.
Ox.
Ox. Suck our
Anyway,
cocks. I'm so sorry.
please.
I am so sorry.
Two
We have
Triple
gone too
H's,
far.
No Shawn Michaels.
Too far.
Please. Yeah,
Ox,
sorry for being
suck
too
our
team
cock.
extreme for you guys.
I
But I
want
would
to punch
enjoy
you in the face.
I would enjoy a Hardy Boys character where it's like they just are still Team Extreme, but they've accepted their age, so they're like middle-aged, and they just talk about how every promo isn't about the other tag team. It's just about how sweet it'd be if everyone had wallet chains again.
Yeah.
Remember
Hey, do you
wallet
think it'd be
chains?
cool?
I can't
Hey,
use
guys.
this thing.
Do you remember those really weirdly tight necklaces girls used to wear on their throats right here? What if a
Chokers?
guy wore those and that guy was me, Jeff Hardy?
You know what? I don't care what Vince says. I don't care how many surgeries they try to make me have. I'm gonna suck my own dick. This is our manager,
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson. Also, Rose McGowan. She lies.
Hi, this is Jeff Hardy.
Their
Are you a
feud was
doctor?
with Rose McGowan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No one can ever forget the Jeff Hardy Rose McGowan feud. It was over. Rose McGowan was in an airport, and Jeff Hardy just got on the baggage carousel and just started swanton bombing people's bags, because when Jeff Hardy's not with Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy's in charge of creative, and you do not
Yeah.
want him in charge of creative because his ideas are like, What if I just take a shit?
That is also something that they could do. Is a new Matt Hardy character is that, and I've met this type of guy a couple times. I would say it's all the time, but I've met the guy who they can't accept that their favorite artist as a kid was just a bad person, and they try and dispute the Me Too claims. And I think that Jeff Hardy would do that, but for Marilyn Manson. Marilyn Manson's their silent manager, and then Jeff Hardy rattles through the accusers and why that fucking didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then they're heels. That's the only way you could Jeff
If
Hardy over as a
Marilyn
heel.
Manson did all that stuff to get Me Too'd, then why is Kanye West still friends with him?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be Jeff Hardy's logic.
Okay. Only a good person would have ribs removed so they could num their own num.
I mean, I'm not going to say who said this to me, but I remember when the Bill Cosby thing came out. Someone said to me, was like, "Listen, you go to someone's room, you know what's happening." It's like, what the fuck is going on?
That was a lot of men. That's a lot of men said that and then had to unsay that.
Oh my god, yeah.
I remember the Bill Cosby thing happened when it because I watched himself the previous day, and I really wanted to talk about it. They were like, "Did you hear about Bill Cosby?" And I was like, "Funny enough, I just watched." And then God bless them, that person let me talk, and just their smile grew and grew as I heaped praise upon Bill Cosby's comedy. And then they were like, he has like 16 billion accusers, and I'm well, the other thing is that most of that special is about what it's like when someone's literally about to pass out from being drunk. So now that I'm self-analyzing this, I want to crawl into a hole and die.
One weird thing about Bill Cosby, and this is something I do think about, is he played the province Saskatchewan more than any other comedy performer.
A lot of fields.
A lot of places. A lot of places do some thinking.
A lot of
flat.
A lot of same.
Yeah.
Lot of fields.
You know what's nice about a flat field? A lot of places to rest the drink that you've drugged.
There's a lot of stuff about Mr. Cosby. Oh, also, fun thing is Bill Cosby, Woody Allen started comedy together. Very good friends. Isn't there a lot
my God.
A lot of talent and a lot of evil there. That's like
yeah.
That's like Elon Musk and Peter Thiel starting PayPal. You're like, woof.
I mean, I like the real dork fucking loser that I am. I've read a book about that, and that story is far more complicated than you realize.
You know what?
What's fun about
we're gonna not talk about Jeff Hardy. We're just gonna talk about Peter Thiel and PayPal.
Oh my God, I fucking hate Peter Thiel. You know how fucked up the world is?
Save it for after the break, John. People can't wait to hear your
I know. I'm going to pee, and then I'm going to come back. Actually, I'm going to give you the hot take now. Do you know how fucked up the world is that Hulk Hogan won a lawsuit where he talked about how Hulk Hogan's dick is bigger than Terry Bollea? And that lawsuit made me hate Hulk Hogan. You would think that I would be like, now this is how you win a lawsuit right here. I'm not talking.
The tape John was very on board with.
Portions of it. I really still enjoy how much he talks about how full he is. I don't care. What are you doing?
A man's man.
Yeah. Also, I've never watched the fucking part. I've only ever watched the chat part at the beginning, and then I turn it off because I feel like this.
Hulk Hogan have sex?
No.
I mean, neither have I. I just watched the part where he's like, "Oof, shouldn't eat at the buffet."
That's the part I've. By the way, that's so much better than the fucking. Also, I think he takes a phone call if I remember correctly.
Oh, yes, he does. Yeah, he takes a phone call. Also, the only piece of editing I've ever done for this show was I put his theme song underneath his racist rant. And that's in the final Hulk Hogan episode of our series.
Is that true?
Yeah, of course, his racist rant. And then if
smart.
It goes up and down and it hurts inside, you shouldn't date him, dude.
Yeah, dude. Maybe I am a racist. What are you doing? Who taught you how to pillow talk, Terry? Terry, what are you doing?
Also, when you hear him talk, legit, it is just like, as all like wrestlers who made it really far are. It is literally just, he's himself as a wrestling character. It's just he says, "Dude." That's it. He's like, "I'll say, dude," and that's the change I'll make. And they're like, "That's good."
Yeah, the only difference is that if me and Gene Okerlund had been in that room, only one person's walking out, and that tape would be far more horrifying and more
Bubba,
racist.
You got skinnier, dude. Oh, hello. My name is Bubba, and pardon me, I should say.
Hello,
Bubba. My undercarriage is Gene because I have made a little.
Welcome everyone to Bubba's house. Bubba, let's just say Bubba is with me, but you can't see him until I shit him out. I ate a fat man. That's how I had a big fat man. I'm Mean Gene Okerlund, and while you, Heather Clem, were having sex with Terry Bollea, I, Mean Gene Okerlund, sliced up and ate a fat man.
The interesting thing is your protege was in many ways the renegade in WCW, and my protege was Ed Gein.
Yeah. And
Everything you're sitting on right now is formerly your friend Bubba, and you know what? I eat only the teeth because that's the
yeah,
part that makes you earn it.
yeah, I like to shit things that are hard. I'm going to
Hang on,
piss now. Time for a break.
Peter Thiel after the break.
All right, so Peter Thiel. Now, here's the interesting thing about Peter Thiel is that
He's Jeff Hardy.
he's very much clearly a guy that just does not like the world and wants it to be remade in his model, and has been basically just going around making the community newspaper he had at Stanford University. He just keeps making that bigger and bigger and bigger. Also, Elon Musk and him did not find PayPal together. It's this weird, odd thing is that Elon Musk had a completely different financial company going that was basically also PayPal, but it was just really shitty
Oh
and
yeah, they
bad.
merged. Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
merged, and yeah, because I
Yeah,
listened to a
it's
whole
so stupid. The
very good
more you read
podcast called
about
Business Wars about it. If you
oh,
listen to
I
that.
read a book on it called The Contrarian about Peter Thiel. And let me tell you, it
Ooh.
makes you fear for the future. But I'll tell you who doesn't fear for the future, and that's Jeff Hardy, and that's because he is on drugs. I would like to spend the rest of this episode debating on whether or not he's on drugs right now. Here's this thing I'm saying. No, I don't think he is. I think it was an elaborate Matt Hardy scheme to get his brother out of the WWE. And because I don't think Jeff Hardy thinks for himself at this point. I think Jeff Hardy is basically Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy are like they're two sides of the same coin. Matt Hardy is the business guy. He's always doing Twitch. He's always reinventing his characters. He went to AEW like what in 2019? Like he saw the writing on the wall and was like, "Fuck this, fucking Fed. I'm out of here. Let's go." And Jeff is like, "They got money here, and I used a hot tub yesterday."
Yeah, I feel like Jeff Hardy. It's the difference between, and it's why they work as a tag team. It's the difference between a lot of things where it's like Matt Hardy's a grinder and Jeff Hardy's a star. It's we've seen this
Yeah,
all the time where it's like we know people who he's one of
yeah,
the funniest people in the
yeah,
world, but he's just like he was tabbed for stardom immediately. So he just like doesn't do it's like exactly like Jeff Hardy. It's like he just doesn't do all the fucking bullshit you have to do versus, Matt Hardy where it's like you just can't deny the guy because he's just going to keep on being a wrestler. Versus Jeff Hardy, you could just get him to he's like, well, fucking me. And which is I'm not saying that one or the other is right because I guarantee Jeff Hardy has in some ways a way happier life than Matt because he's like I'm going to be in a band because wrestling isn't that important to me because people just think I'm good at it versus Matt is kind of like fucking chasing this like white whale of until recently.
yeah. No, I don't think it's like that at all. And I also don't think Matt Hardy's in a band because he thought it was going to be fun. I think he's in a
Jeff
band
Hardy
because he's
is in a
like,
band.
I don't know which one is in a band. The one that we're talking about right now, who's in a
You
band?
don't think Jeff Hardy's in a band? You don't know Jeff Hardy's in a
No,
band?
I know Jeff Hardy's
He
in a
did his
band.
own
I've
theme
heard.
song.
I know he did. And let me tell you, that is a trend I didn't want to continue then, and I don't like that it is now.
I
Yeah,
don't
I
like
like.
that like good guys are doing their own theme song. Like Brody King does his own theme song. It's like,
What are you talking
yeah, it
about,
sucks. I don't know.
bro? Who the fuck's? Why do I? Which
In
one's Brody
AEW.
King? I know which one is he?
He's in the House of Black with Aleister Black. With
Oh yeah.
Malachi
Oh,
Black.
by the way, I popped in on that little fucking that is again. And Matt and Jeff Hardy are part of this too. Is AEW loves let's concentrate on 3 segments and have those booked and written, and then the rest of the show was like, Malachi Black forms a gang with 2 guys, and then they meet Tully Blanchard and go to the store. It's like listening to a 4-year-old tell a story describing some of the segments on AEW.
Yeah.
It was like it's like there's a dinosaur and his friends from the jungle, and the Red Dragons took the belts, and then it's all about the boom.
I get what you're saying, but like they're all versions of the Hardy Boys. They're all trying to like recapture what the Hardy Boys had in 1999, where it's like
Yeah, but
just
no
a
one
bunch
is
of
going to have what the
dudes.
Hardy Boys captured because basically, here's how the Hardy Boys got over. They started wrestling from when they were 13 because Wahoo McDaniel doesn't give a fuck and was just like, he'll do it. Or whoever it was that was finding
Chief
job
J
guys.
Strongbow,
Chief J Strongbow. I couldn't
maybe.
remember. Was
I
it
mean,
Chief J
I
Strongbow?
assumed you confused those two because they're
No, I
both
don't think it was Strongbow. I think it
indigenous
was.
characters. We'll talk about it in the first Jeff Hardy episode that will
You
be
know who
in
I think it
6
might have
months.
been? Is I think it might have been Blackjack Mulligan, and that's even funnier. I was like,
Yeah, they start as
Cowboy?
job guys at 16, and
Scott Hall beats the shit out of them, and
yes,
then right there they kind of start popping up in these weird daisy print tights.
we should talk. We should table this one for the actual
I know,
episode.
but there's a point coming here, which is the reason why everyone wants to be the Hardy Boys from then is because they basically just changed their clothes and one of them just started doing crazy shit and the fans are just sort of like, yep, this forever. And Jeff Hardy is basically not changed from that moment. Essentially, Jeff Hardy just changes his shirt, does a crazy move, and then they're like, great, stay there. Let's go through. Like, what name a time that isn't what just Jeff Hardy does? How do we change Jeff Hardy's career? Well, you remember how he used to wear a black shirt? Now it's a black undershirt with a long sleeved shirt under that. Yep, perfect. What's he gonna do? He just did a swanton into a bunch of piranhas, was eaten by the piranhas, shit out by the piranhas, reformed, elbow drop.
Yeah, this is the period of Jeff Hardy's career, and we're still in it where it's like, holy fuck, how old is this guy, and he's still doing this shit. Because I feel
Yeah.
like there is a lot of anti-Jeff Hardy sentiment that we'll get into in his second WWE run when they start actually pushing him, and because every time
Oh
they
yes,
really go with Jeff Hardy, everyone's kind of like, yeah, you can't really do a promo, and he's not really good in ring. He's just kind of like a really, really charismatic stuntman.
I mean, I also disagree that he can't go in the ring.
He just
I understand
technically
what
can't
people.
because he's a fucking backyard wrestler.
Yeah, I see what people are saying, but it's also one of those things where it's like there's a ton of different wrestling styles and stuff like that. Like, yeah, Jeff Hardy
No,
is
I agree.
like put Jeff Hardy in the ring with any of the cruiserweights is the other thing that like, oh my god, because part of it is Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy to a certain extent, and a bunch of other guys. The most amazing division for all of them would have been that like early Nitro cruiserweight where it's like Rey Mysterio Jr. and Cyclope are going to do a 15-minute match that ends in both of them drilling to the center of the earth and then double moonsaulting onto each other's dicks. Like it was
Yeah.
just so amazing and interesting time for pro wrestling. And just Jeff Hardy has kind of never been. I see what you're saying when you call him a backyard wrestler, but it's kind of that thing of like, how do I say this? He's just going to do the thing he's going to do, and he kind of doesn't care because his dream was to be a wrestler, and he achieved his dream at 16. That sort of sounds weird about Jeff Hardy, but like,
Oh, he got it immediately, yeah.
yeah, like it's in the way that, like, yeah, he's burned down a bunch of houses and he has a bunch of meth addictions, and he brings up his daughters and his wife just enough where I'm like, oh, I think you're using again, son.
He's so this period, obviously they're on high alert for any substance abuse thing, which is funny because
Which I don't understand why, because they haven't shown any signs of substance abuse, all of that sort of stuff. All you basically have
because
is,
of all the other shit they're doing, and they're super corporate. Like the fact that like,
oh yeah, they're definitely up for sale. Like, is that what you're talking about? Like how they're
no, I'm
definitely
talking
going.
about like just having a bunch of people like during just never stopping during the pandemic. UFC caught a lot of heat because they basically Dana White was like, I don't understand why we can't have fucking events. Like basically, he's Dana White. He's basically like,
Oh my
there
god,
should be
Fight
one
Island.
person
No
that-
one talks about how fucking crazy the UFC. Because remember, they're gonna have just an isolated island, and people will just fight
Abu
on the
Dhabi,
island.
yeah, a rich,
What?
just surrounded by sultans. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but the WWE just didn't ask; they just did that.
Oh, I didn't realize the Sultans were going to be there. I thought that it was just that there were going to be two people on an island, which I was like, why? Where is this TV show? I'll watch this every week. I'm aware the WWE went way further than that. They got declared an essential service by the governor of governor of Florida. That's how they were able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
that's what I mean, though. Like Vince McMahon.
But again, he wasn't on drugs. They literally tried to keep him afterwards and offered him the Hall of Fame for some reason.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, they are extra hard on guys like Jeff Hardy maybe doing drugs because they're doing much worse things. Just like if, I don't know.
But again, I don't think Jeff Hardy was on drugs at all. That's why the whole thing still confuses me. Is I don't
Because
I
they're on
don't
high
think
alert. That's what I'm saying, though. They're on high alert for things that are like a B or C level of importance because they're doing a lot of stuff that's an A level of importance that are like the Jamal Khashoggi murders and how they have a fucking thing in Saudi the next month. But
and
then, like,
and
if
they
the Miz
went.
tweets something that could be misconstrued as
Yeah,
homophobic, they will kill him in the street to show that they are an ally of the LGBTQ.
I totally see what you're saying because they're like, yeah, we can manage this. We can't manage
Yeah,
Prince Salman.
yeah, exactly. We need all this money. We're going to make the decisions that affect our bottom line. Who gives a fucking shit if Jeff Hardy's actually on drugs? And Jeff Hardy said in interviews that he would come back. But here's how his run basically works. They do it's a microcosm of every single run that he ever has in WWE. The Hardy Boys are there. They win the tag titles. They lose the tag titles.
Like that too.
Jeff wins the U.S. title. He's a very good U.S. Intercontinental Champion because you can.
Of course he is.
Basically, you can work a match like he's the Ultimate Warrior, but a way better wrestler because like he's super inherently charismatic, but you can't really nail it down to just doing promos. There's just something about Jeff Hardy that's like super, super watchable and great. You can harness that by putting him in the ring with really good wrestlers, which there is such a glut of, which is why I think Jeff Hardy stands out now, is because there's such a glut of hyper competent, great wrestlers who aren't necessarily interesting.
And Jeff Hardy
Watch
is
AEW
interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
Everyone is such a good wrestler.
I am not watching AEW
Tony
Dark.
Nese is a fantastic wrestler. I
Dylan?
couldn't care less about Tony Nese.
I need you to know this. I think you're the only one watching that show.
Look at it. 100,000 people. People like me that are out here love squash matches. We love finishers. We love entrances.
I know. I still don't believe it. I don't care. You know what part of the reason why it turns me off is that they call it dark. Fuck you. I know what they're doing.
Fuck you. Why fuck you? It's supposed to be the dark portion.
I know it's the dark matches. I get it. That's also why it's just like, can we just fuck off? I don't know. It's just all so nerdy. Basically, here's the thing. So Jeff Hardy, it's the end of his run.
We're not
he doesn't
nerds,
want to be there.
We just have a podcast.
What was that?
I said we're not nerds. We just have a podcast.
Yeah.
Wrestling.
I have many podcasts.
Also, let's not act like Jeff Hardy didn't have two DUIs within like 3 months of each other in 2019.
Yeah, but we're talking about 2021. That's 2 years.
Yeah, if you're gonna fire him in 2019.
Yeah, this is exactly my point. In that, I think that what it was is, I think Matt Hardy was just like, "Do you want to come work for AEW?" And he's like, "I got a contract." And he's like, "Well, I've been doing some thinking. I think I know how to get you out of that contract. Just go into the crowd for some reason." I still don't understand what he was fired for.
Because they tried to send him to rehab and he didn't want to go.
Yeah, and they claimed that he jumped into the crowd because he was on drugs, and he was like, "I wasn't." They drug tested him. He came back negative for everything, according to his brother.
But that was 6 weeks after, basically, he was released.
Oh, yeah. Is when they drug tested him? I wanted to know what the time... Yeah, okay. So
also, they were just releasing people at this point. Remember, this is the time when they released Samoa Joe, and they were like, "Oh, wait, oops," and hired him back, and then released him again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Who works for the WWE? I assume WrestleMania is just going to be Cody's debut entrance and then Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and that's it.
Here's the other thing is they were going to move him to NXT 2.0. And so this is Jeff Hart. This is directly from the research from the vivacious Mr. Christopher Hobson. Hardy was described as behaving oddly during the day, then just leaving during the match by hopping the barricade. Interviews he's done subsequently suggest this was due to a total disillusionment in his time with the company. Essentially, no one wants to be fucking put on NXT. He was ordered to take a drug test, the results of which came back negative, but 6 weeks later, after he'd already been released. WWE have suffered a lot of online abuse about the incident, and obviously this is Hobson editorializing. I hate to defend them for anything, but I've spent the last few weeks going over Hardy's history with more wellness violations than anyone else we've covered, a meth addiction, a painkiller addiction, and alcoholism in his third run. Doesn't seem to remiss WWE to assume something was up when he just left the match before it was finished. That said, I believe some accused WWE of just trying to protect their own interests and caring about Jeff, which no doubt is accurate. And this is you're right. They offer him the Hall of Fame without Matt as like a oopsie doopsie. We're so sorry. But you'd be forgiven to the guy who showed up to a pay-per-view so fucked up that a Christian bodybuilder, Sting, had to hit him so hard that he could just pin him. Like, and so many. He's been fired
hang
like
on.
4 times for being cokehead.
Get Sting's fucking title correct. Muscular Christian man wearing face paint.
Yeah, like, you know, Righteous Gemstones? He's just like Adam Devine and Righteous Gemstones. That's who I
need you to know this.
believe.
I do not know what Righteous Gemstones is. It's all anyone is talking about, and I refuse to learn.
You're a contrarian. You're John Teal.
I'm John Teal. Ooh, pal, pay me.
But yeah, of course, like, Jeff Hardy has an extremely addictive personality. He's clearly, like, in some way just only wants his life to be a series of fucking sick-ass adrenaline rushes, and that cost him his job again. But also, he's 100% going back to the WWE at some point.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think Matt is.
He's like, yeah, I want to do that. And it's like, the other thing about Jeff Hardy is that it's super smart for him to not just be in the WWE for a really long time, because every single time where they're like, okay, we give you, you know, you start in the tag team, we give you a push, you reach this thing where you're either trying for a title or win the world title, and then they always downgrade him because, you know, Jeff Hardy's Jeff Hardy. He has tons of spots. Everyone loves him, but
there's only so much you can do with him, and there's only so much you want to do with him. Yeah.
He has no other characters. He is who he is. And then
he's also not like a John Cena. Yeah.
He has to be a territory guy. So that's what, and effectively, weirdly, his drug addiction has effectively made him a territory guy. He's 3 or 4 year run. By the time they're like, we're going to put you in developmental and you're going to job, he just like, snorty, bye-bye. And then they have him back in 5 years.
I don't think Matt's going back to the WWE. I restate that. I think that Matt will probably end his career in AEW because I don't think Matt cares in the same way. I think that Jeff Hardy
be like a good writer, booker, or whatever. Like,
yeah, I think what's fascinating about Jeff Hardy forever is I think that you hit the nail completely on the head. Is he's the last of the journeyman territory wrestlers in that he's not particularly uniquely skilled. He just has 7 moves we'd all like to see every 4 minutes till the day we die.
Yeah, I think. Here's the thing, though. I think he is very uniquely skilled. I just think that skill is much more like an Ultimate Warrior, Goldberg, or Junkyard Dog, where it's like this inherent, intangible charisma that he has just in the way he moves, just in the way he does moves. Like, there's a ton of people that do swanton bombs and sentons. It's just nobody does them as cool as Jeff Hardy. And the way Jeff Hardy, like, makes it like every bump he takes looks like he's fucking dead. Like, and he had that from the time he was a jobber. I remember Jeff Hardy as a jobber in the early 90s because he looked like he was dying.
Oh, of course, both of them. There's a Scott Hall match that I can't remember if it's Matt or Jeff, but
it's the first match. It's 16-year-old Jeff Hardy against Razor Ramon, and it looks like Razor Ramon's just beating. And as a kid, you're watching this, and you're like, he's just beating my friend up because we all had like a thin friend with long blonde hair.
Yeah, me. That was me.
Yeah.
When Dylan met me, that's what I looked like, and it's gone horrible since.
What's your favorite thing with Jeff Hardy's third run?
The debut at WrestleMania. That was the best thing ever.
That's the only good thing.
Yeah. You know what the worst thing about it was?
The pandemic.
I agree with that.
I like that he caught the pandemic.
Yeah, he did. He ate the bat at the Wahoo
He snorted.
West Market.
Yeah, he snorted. He was one of the scientists making those diseases. There's a disease lab, and it's man-made. John, sorry,
you don't need to...
only me right now. There is a disease lab, and the diseases were man-made.
That's true. We're talking about the only disease that's affected my life for the last 3 years. Literacy.
That's good. I think the worst thing about Jeff Hardy is, honestly, that the WWE has nothing means anything. And,
go ahead.
He just was like, it was a cool story, him winning the U.S. title and the Hardy Boys being back for approximately 4.5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of go back and forth. The 50-50 booking just makes it so no one's a star. And they really could have, like,
Done something.
Done
Big-
another Jeff Hardy title run. Exactly what we're saying. His
Yeah.
rematch with Roman Reigns. Hey, you want to keep him around? You want? Oh, oopsie doopsie. Sorry. You immediately like, all right, you can job to Roman Reigns at like a Backlash or something. Who
They
gives
would
a
have.
fuck?
That's a great. Whatever happened to that being a nice main event for the Royal Rumble?
Yeah. Did they still have the Hell in a Cell? Well, Great Balls of Fire pay per view? Whatever. Fucking okay.
Oh yeah, the Great Balls of Fire. Remember that fucking
Roman
nightmare?
Reigns versus Jeff Hardy in his match. TLC.
Yeah, there you go.
Easy.
Fucking easy peasy. All those things could have happened, but you know
And
what's
then
going to
Roman
happen
Reigns
right now,
shoots him
Dylan?
with a gun, and Jeff Hardy is confused because he thinks that leukemia is transmitted through touch, so he believes he has cancer when he loses.
Yeah,
and
he
then
does.
Jeff Hardy learns a lot about himself and diseases.
I don't think he
That's the
does. I
other
don't think he
character.
learns anything about himself.
Dr. Jeff Hardy. That's the new character I would do.
Fuck.
Jeff Hardy has to accept that COVID is real. That's the other one.
Never, he would never do it.
Next week we're gonna. You're falling asleep because you're in Australia. It's now 1 a.m. in Australia. It is 9:55 in the beautiful a.m. We have got through this episode. As you can tell by my voice, I am fucking exhausted. John is fucking exhausted. We did it for you. Please don't.
We did it for you, and also I fucking hate
Jeff
Jeff Hardy in the WWE at this point. Just shut up. Also,
They
the
made
WWE
John stay up past his
sucks.
bedtime, and they suck.
It's not even past my bedtime. It's just like it's just beginning of a festival, and it's also that thing of like it's just so many. I love being a stand-up, all that sort of stuff, but just take it out of me because I'm like, what? I go to a comedy club and the technician is just not there. Why do I need when we do a festival? Why do I have to pretend like? Just turn the mic down, turn the lights on, and I'll walk on.
Anytime it's like there's a tech run, it's like not for me. Talking to it, does it make loud? Good.
Yeah, and by the way, does not need to.
100%.
All right,
I can make anything work. Yeah, I think the thing about stand-up comedy that you realize after you do it for a while is it's like perilously close to actually just making money from not doing anything, and then you're like, what would it be like if I just did nothing? And it would be sick, John.
It would not be sick. I did that for 2 years.
It would be fucking sick. Anyway,
and
thank you so much for your time, guys.
I do not thank you,
next
patrons.
Week we're going to be doing
the only
Dwayne
people
Gill. I made this call. Dwayne Gill.
We're doing Dwayne Gill,
a guy who went through Jeff Hardy jobber phase, but then that was it. And you know what?
Not true. That's not true.
Gilbert,
not true.
Better than any Jeff Hardy character. Dwayne
Goddamn
Gill,
right.
I'm going to say it right now. He has more. One thing you can't take away from him. He has more range as a professional wrestler than Jeff Hardy. Because
I'm going to give.
Jeff,
I'll give you one more thing about
Hot Topic and do a fucking
you want
swanton, Jeff.
One more thing about Dwayne Gill.
What's one more thing?
Most memorable character of the Attitude Era.
Sure. Sure. More than Austin, more than Rock, more than you and me.
Everyone remembers Dwayne Gill.
I want you to see this. COVID is a lie?
No.
Dwayne Gill slapped Chris Rock. It was Will Smith in a Dwayne Gill outfit. Next week when we do Dwayne Gill, follow us on Patreon, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Fuckbook, Pornhub, Jizz Hut. Bye-bye.
Bye.